we're on. All right, let's call this meeting to order. If anybody's on video, we apologize for the delay. First item, oath of office. Becky. You're up.
Can I borrow, I think I know.
Oh, but yeah, borrow just to make sure. Should we all do it at once?
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah.
Sure, efficient.
Come on up. Yeah. Oh, wait, oh. What did you say? On? On?
Yes.
Okay, record. Okay. And it says stop right now, so it is on. Okay. All right, I'm gonna put this over here. So we can all be heard. Okay.
I'm just gonna ask you to, do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Constitution of the State of Arkansas, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of the office of the County Election Commissioner upon which you are about to enter?
I will.
Yes.
I will.
And then if you will sign your oath, and I will take you upstairs.
And make sure your address, email, and all of that's correct on there, because I will then submit all of this information to the Secretary of State's office and the state court.
And the top part will do it.
We'll do that.
Thank you, Becky.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate your patience.
And I'll have these ready for you. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay, next item is election of chairman. I am going to open up the floor for nominations, and I'll nominate myself.
I'll second your nomination.
Okay, thank you.
You've done such a good job this last year, 2 years. Second.
Thank you. Any other nominations? All right, nominations cease. And shall we take a vote? All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. That was easy. Do I need one of those buttons?
Yeah, we're cranking through it.
You
Yeah,
want
really.
You need a gavel.
I do have a gavel at home, but I feel like that's over the top. Okay, approve the minutes from the previous meeting. Have y'all had a chance to read these?
Looks good to me. I had no changes.
Okay.
I'm good.
Yeah, all right.
I'll make a motion to approve them.
Okay, we don't really need a motion, we just need to, if there are any changes, we need to say what they are, and if not, we'll just approve them as presented.
Works for me.
Okay, all right, minutes approved. We're gonna mow through this. Email addresses, Jennifer.
So, one of the things we have discussed previously is, would you like a county email address instead of using your personal email address? If we're ever under a FOIA request, your personal email would still be FOIAble. And so,
In our personal email address.
yes, so anytime I communicate with you, because I'm communicating through you on your personal email address, any of those communications that someone asks for a FOIA request, you would have to submit those personal emails from your personal, I mean, they're not personal in the sense, it's from your personal email address. I've been talking with IT about getting you a county email address, if you would prefer to do that. I know it adds another email for you and another password and all of that.
Password.
So if you would like one, I can get IT to set one up for you, and we can start that process.
What do you think? I want one.
Okay.
I mean, you can sign me up for one, but I guess this is whatever you prefer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think through it. I mean, even if I have one, it's on me to make sure that I'm using that email address just for the election commission business. Because if I use my personal email address, that's still subject to FOIA.
It is.
But it's a good point, Jennifer. It's a good way to get the bulk of them or all of them. Heck, if I can do that. I'm trying to think how many Gmail addresses can you have in the app, and flip through. I think there's a limit, but yeah, I'll take one. I think that's a good idea.
Put me down. And I already have 3 or 4, why not, what's another one?
Right?
I could just make mine 3 or 4.
Then I will work with IT and let you know what we need to do and everything to get that.
Thanks.
I think that would be a helpful thing. All right, legislative update, we're not gonna do a lot on that. You wanna do a few comments?
Sure, so every day I send this out. Right now, there's a few notable bills in here that would impact this. I have made copies of those for you, just so you could have a printed copy.
And your comments?
And my comments on one,
17.
yes. Senate Bill 188 is the one about polling places and electioneering. My one concern with that one is we do have several churches that have always requested no signage on their at their polling site on election day. This would prevent a church from being able to request that.
So we could lose polling locations. We probably would lose polling locations because of this bill. Yeah, you're right. It's a good point.
So that is a reason of concern, in regards to this. There, had been an AG opinion about polling locations retaining the right except for where we're currently at. So that is my one concern about this bill is, losing sites. And we're not the only county that will experience this. I think many counties may lose polling locations. And it only applies to private. So for instance, the county can still say at the courthouse, no signage allowed. So,
Does that bill have any, we don't know if it has any traction, or, I guess just keep us updated about it. And if there's something we, need to do, if it gets traction.
it looks like Senator Clark filed this bill and he filed SB 217, which is the absentee bill. Oh, no, that's Senator Tucker, sorry. So the absentee bill, which is SB 217, it significantly changes how we do absentee ballots. And some of those changes, I think, definitely are problematic when you look at it logistically. There is no definition. He sets up a cure period for when absentee voters could come in and fix any problems with their voter statement, but he leaves it at before certification. So that would be up to you signing certification. Yeah. Voters could be bringing in their materials to be fixed. I think it's problematic that voters could bring in their absentee ballots on election day into the county clerk's office, the busiest day she has. I mean, the clerk is answering phone calls from every polling location, every, voters, and now you're going to add this extra layer. And it also limits us with our ability to be able to canvass ballots in a timely manner, because now election day, you have all these absentee ballots coming in. The 24-hour period to notify voters is problematic unless they are required to share a valid telephone number or email address to us.
And even some of that could be problematic because I don't answer calls that I don't know, or that aren't in my phone book.
And how do you deal with overseas? So there's a lot of practical things in this bill that definitely need to be addressed and looked at if it does go anywhere. And I kind of laid out all of those different problems. I just kind of highlighted some of the bigger ones that I would see that definitely could impact how we certify elections and how we count absentee ballots. So, and of course, I've shared this too with, with our other commissioners and everything.
Yeah, I think that's, we'll see where the bills go.
Yeah. House Bill, or Senate Bill 230, this one is about voting assistance, and it takes away the limit of 6. So in the past, an individual can only assist 6 voters, but it removes that completely. It also, there's some language in here it removes about the candidate and doesn't limit them. I need to confirm if there's another portion of the bill where candidates are addressed and about helping that that's problematic. I do know that there have been a lawsuit filed in regards to, the limit of assisting voters. So I think that this is, obviously in response to
What was the, outcome of that?
I don't.
Still
think it's
pending,
been-
I think.
Oh, it's-
I haven't seen any updates, so I think that it is,
Okay.
I think.
So, I mean, maybe this is to cut that off at the pass or something.
Well.
Yeah, could be,
Yeah,
could be.
yeah. If the court case doesn't rule in their favor, now you have a bill
You've
that
got
kind of
something,
removes
yeah,
that limit.
on that.
And then House Bill 1252, this is the municipal elections, and the way I read it, moves it to having party elections for municipal candidates.
Huh, so making them partisan rather than nonpartisan.
Yes.
Interesting.
That's the
So-
whole point of the bill?
I think so. When I read it, that's how I've looked at it.
That's the flavor you get.
Right.
Is it the mayor too, or is it just council
It
members?
just says mayor, council, form of government.
Gotcha.
Which is,
Oh, yeah.
which is what we have here in Washington
Sure.
County. Someone, I've asked someone to look to see if that's exactly what this bill is doing. My only concern with this bill is, just as many bills that we've seen filed, it doesn't address other parts of the law. So this only addresses if you're running for a municipal candidate as a political party. But what if you're an independent candidate? When do you file as an independent candidate, for JP? In those positions, you have to file at the same time period as every other candidate. It doesn't address that, and it would need to be addressed elsewhere in the law regarding that. So, I know that we get a lot of questions when we do have municipal elections, if that person is a Republican or a Democrat. A lot of voters ask us that question, well, who do I vote for? And how do I know? And of course, we always are like, we can't answer that question. And then the next question is this person a Republican or a Democrat? And we're like, we don't know. I don't know if this bill is to set that up. I'm not 100% sure on that, so.
Okay, well, that's still, I guess, in committee or something.
Yes, it hasn't made it out of committee, or it hasn't even been discussed yet.
Okay.
The only bill that's been discussed has been truly that impacts us, is the bill requiring sample ballots to be
On voter view.
on voter view.
Yeah.
And that one did pass out of
Oh, it
committee.
did.
We do that anywhere.
Yeah.
We do that anyway. There are 20 counties that currently do not post their, sample ballots on voter view.
Huh.
So in essence, this would require every county to post their ballots on voter view. The only concern I have with that is county board of election commissioners do not have access to voter view.
Right.
So voter view is part of the county clerk's power profile system, and we don't have our own separate logins, and we don't have our own access to that. So it's setting up the county board to do something, and then they have to submit that to another entity to do.
See that it gets done, and that
Exactly.
other entity may or may not.
Yeah.
Right, and we're fortunate, Becky, I have access to power profile and to voter view, and just to do this.
Mm-hmm.
But not every county commission works with their county clerks in the same way. So
Yeah.
that would be my only concern
Yeah.
with the bill. But we
Gotcha.
currently, yes, do this, so.
Okay.
And we'll see where that goes. Okay, that's the end of the legislative update. Let's go on to upcoming dates this year. And this just keeps adding. It does.
This is a basic overview for the year, so you can kind of know when we will need to meet, more often. Our first election, of course, is February the 9th. I am going to suggest that we meet at 7 o'clock election night. I knew we had talked about other time periods, but currently we have no absentee ballots.
Okay.
So I think 7 o'clock is is good for us to meet, on February the 9th.
February 9th.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna plug it
And
in.
we'll be in the courtroom.
Cool. Got it.
And then election night, we'll kind of go over those dates when we need to meet, depending on provisional ballots and all of that.
Right.
We do have a new election, April the 13th, for the city of Elkins. So I will put together some meetings for that. Some of the meetings we'll be able to, have at the same time as we're certifying that February election.
And possibly county town on that day.
I'm hoping we get the city of Tawnytown on that day. Otherwise, it will be the week before the school election. May 18th is the annual school election. And then we have heard talk of a fire district election. Most likely that will be in July. The quorum court would need to pass an ordinance in April for it to be a July election. So that's why I'm saying it will be July. After July, it's too late to hold it, to hold the election.
Have you, at least connected with the fire district people?
I am working on, I've talked to, someone at the Boston Mountain Fire District. I need to get back in touch with Sunset and then with Goshen
Okay.
to make sure they know.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is the kind of thing where they don't have the heads up, they may have forgotten.
Well, and then they may try and it's too late
Right.
to, get everything together for it.
Redistricting.
Redistricting, going back through my notes and minutes from, 10 years ago, we started meeting late August, the 1st of September. And we had 8 total meetings, for redistricting, 2 of which were, all of our meetings are public, but 2 of which were specifically just for,
To present it.
to present the maps and for people to come in and make comments of the maps.
Mhm.
Specifically, one of which was with the JPs. And the JPs came in and made comments and different things like that. So just be aware that starting in August, late August or September, should be our first redistricting, meetings. I've spoken with Jeff Hawkins at Northwest Regional Planning, who did our maps for us back in 2011. The county pays for services with Northwest Regional, so it won't cost us anything to use them.
Great.
They're used to doing it, they know how to do it, and we'll work with Northwest Regional, of course, with Becky's office to make it a seamless process.
Seems great. Yeah, we should set up, I don't know, like the city of Fayetteville, when they have some proposal for a road or something, or,
Yeah.
like they have a public meeting and
Right.
these 3 options that they're talking about. Maybe even a road show, do one in Fayetteville,
There's a.
do a meeting up in Springdale, I don't know,
How many people showed up for the public meetings,
So we-
Have an approximate?
I actually had a sign-in sheet,
Hmm.
and so I was actually able to see, there was a sign-in sheet in here. I think it was only like 6 JPs showed up.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't, there weren't, 6, 7, there were 7 JPs that actually showed up, to the public, meeting for that one. Now, when we do redistricting, we are only redistricting the JP districts. After we finish with that, then the, cities will do their redistricting for their ward.
After that, huh?
Yeah, from all the notes and the emails and everything, it starts at the top, the state will start with their part of it, and Jeff was thinking, he said March 31st is the deadline for the U.S. government to get everything to the state to start the process. He said 10 years ago, February the 10th was when they had everything to the state. But they didn't finish up until the summer. He was speaking to someone down at the state's GIS office, and he didn't think they would start really until June or so on that work. So we'll wait until they're finished, and then we'll do the JPs. And then it looked like after that, then the cities did their ward maps, and then the schools will do their school zones.
Gotcha.
Did they try to do it based on the JP
No, we asked them to do it based on the precincts that we have created,
Okay.
so that we don't create more splits. So for instance, the city of Fayetteville has always been great to work with us, so when they draw their ward maps, they have our precincts, they draw their ward maps based on our precinct lines, so we're not creating
Mhm.
more precincts than what we currently have.
There's a lot of interaction that has to take
Yeah.
place to
Yeah.
make it work.
There is. And we'll
Great
work-
they do it that way.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We've always been thankful that they have done it that way.
Sure.
We work with Springdale too.
Yeah.
Currently, Lincoln, Fayetteville, Springdale, and Greenland are the only school districts that are by zone. I don't know if any of that will change after redistricting is done, if we'll have the other ones by zone, but those are the school districts where we'll say zone.
What's the, requirement there?
It has to do with the minority population, so once there is a certain minority population in those
Reach that
areas,
threshold.
when you reach that threshold, it triggers an automatic zoning for those school districts.
Okay.
So,
Okay, well, we'll know more about that as the year goes on.
Mhm.
Let's see, known upcoming meeting dates, and we've kind of already talked about
Yeah.
those. I think we just wait on the 11th, 10th or 11th, and
Yeah.
Tuesday night. Anything else? You have any observations on those?
No.
Jim, are you keeping up?
I am.
I mean, you
When
would.
you say, waiting on the 10th or 11th,
We can decide that on the night of the election.
which on the 9th?
Yeah,
Okay.
and generally, our meetings, you're good in the morning, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think we had said before February 10th. It looked like it was on my calendar for
Oh,
nine,
okay.
for 9 a.m. I
Okay.
mean, I'm good in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm good with that date and time.
Okay, and there's really not gonna be a reason to put it off till the 11th, more than likely.
No, there's not.
Okay.
If there's provisional ballots, there could only be one or two.
Yeah.
The clerk can handle that before we would meet at 9.
Okay.
If there are no provisional ballots, and right now it looks like we would have no overseas absentee ballots, we could actually certify on February the 12th. So,
Skip the 10th if there's no provisional ballots, yeah. So whether or not we even have a meeting on the 10th at 9 a.m.
That
is yet to be
might still get
determined.
right here. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
and at that meeting on February the 12th or the 19th, whichever one, I will have all of the information for the April election for us to do, so we can combine,
Good.
so we're not having to meet unnecessarily.
Cool.
Perfect. All right, any other comments, questions on those meeting days? Let's move on to the other business in general, but I know that Jennifer has other business specifically.
Yes, as witnessed that before our meeting, I, noticed on the calendar that, the finance committee was meeting on February the 9th, which is our election date. Neither one of us can reschedule our meetings, and the county only has one license for Zoom, and you can't have two Zoom meetings going at the same time. So I talked to Jerome yesterday about what do we need to do? Can we get our own license and everything? And so after looking at everything, I think the Zoom video webinar, which is technically what we're doing.
Right now?
Yes,
Okay.
is what we should look at. It will cost us $400 a year, but you'll see it all the different things. We'll still be able to live stream to YouTube. If we did the cheaper version of Zoom, you can't live stream to YouTube. I think that's the big difference between the cheaper one. We would then be in control of setting up the meeting,
Good.
logging on, our passwords. I'd have to get with IT about how we
Yeah.
do this, but then we would be responsible for that, and we wouldn't have to worry, is the finance committee meeting at the same time as us? Is
Yeah.
another, entity meeting, and we have to shift our schedules, because we've already had that happen at least twice to us.
Right.
already. So
What about the, is there a 40-minute limit on this, or
there
is
is
this
not.
open-ended?
This is
Okay.
open-ended.
Okay.
We also think too that for training purposes
Yeah.
for our poll workers,
Sure.
you know, would be a great way for us to do it. I did a couple of Zoom training sessions with the school districts and with, you know, Procter and Gamble when they signed up to be volunteers. We did a Zoom thing. So I think more than just meetings,
Yeah.
we could do it for training or, you know, different things like that when we thought we needed to.
Justifiable for those kind of
And also,
applications.
if our Northwest Regional group were to try and meet again,
Yeah.
if we wanted to do it by Zoom, it gives us the opportunity, and we're in control of doing everything ourselves.
Now, can we do it down at the sheriff's annex or only here?
No, it's wherever we
I
can
mean,
log in.
not necessarily that we would need it, but that's where we've always done our meetings before.
Yeah, as long as we have a login and an internet connection, a TV, and able to, you know,
Okay.
to do that, we can. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, this conflicts have happened a number of times. We all sat around for 30 minutes this morning, I mean, waiting on it. We've had to reschedule meetings. I think it's a no-brainer, $400 a year to be able to have meetings whenever we want and be in charge of our own destiny. You know, we can log in and know the password and not have this happen again. So I think it's a great idea.
Can we have a motion
Necessary.
on that?
I'll move to pay for $400 a year for the Zoom license.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to do this. And, any discussion other than what we've already had? I do have a question, and now I've forgotten it.
Just a general question, where does the money come from to pay for it?
So we actually,
That's what I was gonna ask.
we actually have different line items, and I believe I'll have to go and confirm. I believe I have $1,000 in our IT,
Oh, do
line item.
I think you do.
For like, when we need to replace flash drives, or if we need to replace an iPad, or if we need to replace anything like that. I believe I have the money in there, to pay for that. We've spent, you know, this is always the year where we don't spend any money until the very end of the year, because I want to make sure we get through our elections, because we have a tighter budget this year. But we would have the money, certainly, if I'm thinking correctly, we have it in the line item for, technology, but we would have it in, we started with $10,000 in just general, supplies.
Oh.
We could pull it out of general supplies.
Okay.
One other quick question, and, maybe I didn't quite understand this, but no longer restricted on time for the Zoom calls, but you were talking about 2 at a time. Is there a restriction, on the number of Zoom calls that be going on at the same time?
No, what we were talking about was that sometimes another committee in the
Yeah, I'm just saying,
courthouse-
what if 3 committees wanted to do something?
This would be our own, and
So anybody else would be-
So we would be
Okay,
signing in under our own.
Okay, so this is separate from what they're using?
Yes.
Yeah, we've used the
That's-
county one.
That was my confusion.
Yeah, and we've used the county one, and then, so we can't have 2 meetings, you know, some other entity in the county, and we've had the 40-minute limit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That we've had to deal with
Because
too.
those are the free ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Let's go ahead and vote on it.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, Jennifer is authorized to expend this money.
Spend that money,
And we
Jennifer.
won't have this issue in the future. Is that renewable? I
It
mean,
is,
it's a
it's,
year-to-year
yeah, it
thing.
would be a year-to-year thing. I think, and I feel like for Washington County and for the voters in Washington County, I think continuing to do our meetings live stream on YouTube is a benefit, so I feel like this should just be kind of built into our budget from here on out, as just how we conduct meetings.
I think it's making everybody go that direction,
Mhm.
and it makes sense for us to be there and not be dependent on the county to, you know, for their 40 minutes.
I agree. I mean, they passed that statute a couple of years ago that we have to record our meetings anyway. So this is recording it. I mean,
Right.
so it's complying with that.
And, I mean, actually, there are times when I've thought, did the recorder work? Did that work?
Sure.
So there's a bit of redundancy there that we haven't been able to use in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, other business? No
Nope.
other business? Okay, anybody? With no other business, we are adjourned.
All right. Well done. Efficient.
Well.
After the first 30 minutes.
You know, yeah, here it is. We spent 30 minutes waiting and we spent 30 minutes in our meeting, so sorry you didn't get any work
No,
done
it's,
during that
no,
period
this
of time.
is all good. All right.
Look forward to working with all of you.
Me too. Welcome to the commission.
Thank you, sir.
Renee, congrats on being elected chairman
Thank you.
again.
I appreciate your kind comments, and we'll just keep going.
Absolutely. You guys have a good
Have a
day.
good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, we need to turn.
Did he get signed, by the way?
His pay sheet, I
Oh,
put it down
okay.
there, so hopefully he saw it.
Yeah, he must have. I'm gonna turn this off. Oh, it is blank.
So,
What do we do here? Hit the middle button?